Hello fellow pilots, I'm Steinsch. Today I'm going to explain and demonstrate the initial and pitch landing approach, also known as the overhead maneuver. In BCS, whenever you first contact an airfield for an approach, the ATC gives you an initial point 10 miles from the runway, from which you can do a straight-in approach. As 10 miles give you plenty of time to prepare for landing, this is the way to go if you are flying an ILS approach during bad weather or nighttime, or if you're coming in heavy or damaged and your plane is sluggish and harder to control. However, when visibility is clear, military jets often perform an initial and pitch approach. This is the quickest and most efficient way for aircraft information to land, and also minimizes time and exposure over unsecure areas beyond the airfield. The initial and pitch approach requires some practice to master, but the steps are fairly simple. Contact the ATC of the airfield and state your inbound. You'll be notified of the active runway. Ignore the heading given by the ATC and pass instead the relevant point of entry. Then head for the initial point at high speed and pattern altitude. To know the precise location of points of entry and initial points, as well as pattern altitude, check the VAD chart on your kneeboard. And now the fun part begins. When you're about to get to the initial point, turn towards the runway while maintaining airspeed and altitude. Now, you have a choice. You can either decide to fly over the runway itself, or you can fly along the runway, on its dead side, and have more separation with other aircraft that could be still taking off or going around. Once above midfield, join the downwind leg of the pattern by executing a tight 180-degree turn with throttles to idle. Note that if you have wingmen, they will do the same 5 seconds apart. Now, a 3 to 4G turn will bleed your speed very quickly, so be prepared to ease on the stick and add more power at the end of your turn to avoid a stall. Once you've reached the desired heading, level your wings and make sure you're still at pattern altitude. Lower gear under 250 knots and flaps under 230, then maintain airspeed at about 200 knots. Once you are at 45 degrees relative to the runway threshold, turn base. During your descent, maintain 160 to 180 knots. And you should be on final with an angle of attack of 21 units, about 300 feet AGL, flight path marker placed at the beginning of the touchdown zone, wings level, 1 mile from the runway. At 30 feet AGL, flare to 22 or 23 units of AOA and retard throttles to idle. Upon touchdown, extend air brake and keep your nose high for aerodynamic braking. And that's it. Now let's see how it works from the cockpit. I'm now approaching Cobulity Air Base. Airspeed is 350 knots, altitude 1500 feet AGL and heading 70. As I get closer to the airfield, I have to check the runway is clear, and I have to see if there are any other aircraft flying the pattern. Clear. I also need to choose a reference point to estimate when I'm above midfield. In the brake, maintaining 3 Gs. Heading 250, turn complete, and dropping gear and flaps. Maintaining 200 knots, level flight. Once my wingtip is at the level of the runway threshold, I can turn base. Okay, I am now on final 300 feet AGL, 1 mile from the runway. Placing the FPM on the touchdown area and maintaining an AOA of 21. Flaring, throttles to idle, air brake extended, and aerodynamic braking. Alright, we have landed, and this concludes our tutorial. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll have more coming your way here soon.